All right, we're here with Scott from Broadside Camo,
What's up,
dude.
brother?
How you doing?
Doing well,
So
man.
you just
Thank
came
you.
out with a new camo.
That's right.
But on top of that, something very, very special within the camo.
I hope so.
So why
I
don't
like
you
to think
explain to the folks at home what you did in the innovative side of the camo?
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. How y'all doing, everybody? I'm Scott Shearer with Broadside Camo, the owner, the designer. So I got into saddle hunting a little bit over a year ago, like many of us, jumped on the bandwagon, saw the glories and the benefits to it. But right away, from an apparel perspective, I've been in the game for 6 years now, making and designing both camo and then structural and kind of integral type pieces. And so I started to see some of the problems, as many of you may have already experienced, and I started to address that last year. So I prototyped it with about 8 or 9 guys, and then finally made this and released what I've now called the Ascender series. Jacket, pants, there's going to be bibs, and there's going to be a hoodie coming this summer with 2 different patterns. But what I've really tried to do is really approach, whether you're a saddle guy, a mobile hunter tree stand guy, or just an outright tree stand, really address the needs that we as an upward or aerial type person have to deal with. The stuff we carry in, the stuff we climb with, all the various features, the things that we need. I'm trying to address both how you store those, how you walk those in, where they live, and then functional pieces of the actual garment. So I'm going to start from the bottom, I'm going to work my way up to the top, right? So many of you guys know what an aider is. That's real fine and simple. So as you'll see to the top, I've put a D-loop into the waist. So you simply take that off. It's about function and features, right? So I put a 4-inch by 10-inch pocket here on my lower calf. Tuck that in, tuck your bow hoist, tuck your saw, tuck your snips. I'm taking advantage of real estate that most people aren't taking advantage of. Of course, we've got the standard boot zip pocket. That's easy. But what I've done after that, lateral cargo pockets, and then now medial cargo pockets. So this is something that's new to the market that people aren't doing. You've got all this real estate, and when you're in a seated position or in a saddle type form, that space that can be used because you lose your hips. Your hips and your butt pockets are now gone.
Right.
I went, hey man, I want to store my phone. I'm on it just like everybody else is. So when you get into that bent position, you can just drop that in it, or you've got your outside lateral pocket.
And that's one of the problems with the saddle is that when you're putting it here and then you're strapped in, it's almost impossible to get anything out of it. These pockets that are used on your regular hunting pants are inusable.
Inusable. Totally get it. So I started trying to think through that process. So as I came up to the jacket, I went, well, shoot, man, I've got a bridge. I got a fixed bridge. And I started dealing with this whole bunching thing that the standard jacket or the standard saddle, once you get into it, you get this and you get that air draft here in the belly. Nobody wants that. It starts to ride up in the back. That's no good. So people are getting cold and they've got their gear, but their saddle's forcing them.
Or even wet.
Or wet. That's another one. Now you get down the side.
Yeah, you don't want that.
And this is probably the most innovative piece about this. What I've done is I've created 2 snaps that allow your bridge to come over. So now your bridge can actually be a functional part of the jacket, just a simple snap, and you're into it. If you're not a saddle guy, that's fine. You can use this same pocket or the same gap to get into your hoodie underneath, and you can do it as a kangaroo pouch. Leave your hand warmers there, and now I can put my hand inside of it, and I can use it this way. But I'm a saddle guy, that's what I want. So now my jacket lays flat the way it's supposed to. Now I don't have that draft, but it also forces the back to lay flat. Well, if I take this spot away, which is traditionally born for the pockets, where do my pockets go? So what I did is I put 2 just kind of comfortable pockets here, but they're big enough where I can store stuff like ropes, plenty functional. But not only that, I went here to the chest. I took something from the duck hunters, something that they get when they're in their waders and they're in the water. Where are those hands going?
Right here.
They go up wide, because you don't want that water and the rain to go down into the pockets. So this has that same kind of capability here up here in the chest. I also have one on the inside. Everybody wants that. You store your phone in there, put a nice warmer in there, keep your core warm. So as we get through that, I want to kind of show some of these features, how that actually plays out into the real world. So obviously we don't have a full setup. I'm not going to go through all that. I've done this before, I promise. Yeah. So now I'm in. So see how my jacket is now flat? This doesn't happen with traditional stuff. You get all this bunching. Now my hands, where most people rest on your bridge, now you've got a nice natural place to warm and keep them. Now we're getting back into a natural, comfortable position that we want to be in hunters. So if you're a tree stand, you still got it. So pockets, phone. You got a phone on you?
Yeah.
Oh man, you know, while I'm that, I'm kind of thirsty. So in the back of my jacket, I put in 2 kidney pockets. Here, hold that for me. Let me have that phone while you're at it. I'm gonna go back to that.
Don't call anybody, all right?
Oh no,
all
you're
right.
all good.
Yeah.
Never know who. I'm not gonna read text either. So that's where your phone can live now. right here. So whether you're in a bent knee position here or you're inside here, it's in a nice natural, gravity's gonna work for you, not against you type placement. So on the back, so I made this specifically for all you Wild Edge fans. As you're ascending, there's your perch.
It doesn't even make sense.
It does make sense.
I love it.
Because you want to make this easy.
Right.
So for me, I spent my time, I'd walk my backpack in, and then I had to undo all this other stuff. Well, if I can wear on a colder day, if I can walk this in and go it nice and slow, well, now I've got it. And now I can undo my tie on. It just seems to make a little bit more sense for me. So right now, here we are in a 70-degree room. I'm in a jacket. I'm starting to get kind of warm. Starting to warm up a little bit. So all I have to do is do the zippers off my sleeve, and now I can take that sleeve off and I can vent. Or if I really want to, get into it here, take it all the way down, and now I can undo it and run it as a vest if I want to. So now I'm into a vest. Oh, but wait, it's gonna get colder later, because you know those hunters, there's a 30-degree swing sometimes. You go from 40 to 70 or 70 down to 30. Just get right back into it. And then you just go through the zip process and get it back up, and you're there. I'm just trying to make something that makes sense.
Right.
Trying to think through the problems before people really start to get in them. You know how guys are just gonna get inundated with saddle stuff. And their mind's gonna go pop. They've got sticks, they've got platforms, they've got ropes, they've got ascenders to do. Well, now you got a different ascender that's gonna work for you. So this ascender series is really about taking care of that guy.
I love it.
Thanks, man.